Hi everybody, it's me, AkashaWolf, and today we are going to talk about how to become a witch. Well, this is basically your goals and stuff like that. A lot of you guys, not all of you, I say lots. Hey, don't eat my book! My guinea pig is trying to eat my book. Because he's bad. Yeah, you know Lafayette. Anyways, so a lot of you guys think that you have to perform a certain ritual to become a witch. Like, sure, you can have a rite and everything to it and stuff like that. And there's a ritual, to, be like, letting the god and goddess know, like, I'm a witch. I'm going to go through with everything and stuff like that. It's like a whole ceremony that you do with your coven. And not all people have a coven, a lot of people are solitary. I'm in a coven now with my family, but even then I'm still solitary, I do have my own solitary practice, like, more often than I do with the coven, even though they are my family, but yeah, so, like, whatevers. And, basically I'm like, the priestess of the coven, I guess, but it's like, I'm still very much solitary. And there's still a lot of things that even my family, my mother, my grandmother, and my sister and stuff are going through in their life. I'm not saying I'm not, but theirs right now is like a really big point in their life where they're going through something. And they have to, basically learn from it. And, yeah, it's a lot of stuff. But the whole point of this is that basically it's, you guys need to understand that it's not all done with just some ritual. And it's not timed either. It's not like, I was just talking to somebody and they asked me if, do you have to practice spells and stuff for 6 months? And I was like, no. And then, she asked me, well then, what do you do? I'm like, well, that's hard to explain, like, with just writing and stuff like that, which it is hard to explain. So I'm like, video time. So you know who you are. I should have looked at your name, and I didn't. I'm sorry. Like, I messaged you, and I see your picture, and that's how I remember you, is your picture. So I just need to start looking at names, too. But anyways, yeah. So this is that video on that. This is basically goals, and this is stuff that I'm getting from Scott Cunningham's Book of Shadows, because it's basically without me scattering around everywhere. And from what I read from there and explain to you guys, I will put in my opinion and how I feel about it. I was just talking to someone about stuff that they read on the internet, and how they said this person knows what they're talking about and stuff like that. You see, that's the thing. Stuff isn't set in stone, and when you just go directly from what you read, just directly from it, and that's just it, you're like, that's it. That's not being open-minded, and you have to be, not have to, but you need to be someone who's open-minded in the craft, because when you do this, you start learning and picking up things and making up your own opinions and your own idea of it, because you learn when you make mistakes, and when you achieve things, you learn from it all. And as a witch, you have to learn, and you don't know everything. And you need to know that. You need to be honest with yourself. I don't know anything. Everything. As a witch, I know a lot. I am knowledgeable, but I do not know everything. And I'm not going to end my learning here. So that means you need to keep, like, some of your books and stuff like that. Sure, you may read it, and you're like, oh, I don't need this book anymore because I read it. There's going to be, like, maybe 5-10 years from when you read that book when you're going to have to go back and check it out. I keep all my books, and I'm always going back and forth into my books all the time, because someone will be like, well, I need this. I'm like, oh, well, I know a book that has that, and I'll go back and I'll look for it and send it to them and read it up for them and stuff like that. But anyways, let's get, oh, I scared him. He's got ears. Oh, I'm sorry, Lafayette. Anyways, so let's get to it. So I am letting you know now, I'm making reference to Scott Cunningham's Book of Shadow, and this is where I'm, basically reading this from. So Scott Cunningham, I knew you were dead, but I'm not trying to, like, copyright you or anything. This is out of respect for your word. And, he is very Wiccan based, but this is universal for witches. And this is very, when you hear these, you will know that, you know what, that's right. You can feel it and you know it, and if you don't really make sense of it, you're like, what? No, that doesn't make sense. Alright, so it's already been 5 minutes from me freaking talking. I'm sorry. Anyways, so, number 1, know yourself. This is very, very, very important. Okay, let's start. Number 1, know yourself. This is a very important thing. You need to know and understand yourself. You need to know what you're capable of, what you're not wanting to do, what you're willing to do, and stuff like that. You need to basically know yourself. You need to know if you're a good person, a bad person. Well, if you're a bad person, you don't want to be a bad person. You know, apply certain things and make changes if you don't like who you are. Which, I think that we all have bad things about ourselves, but we need to love it, you know, in some way. Now, if it's just something really crazy, like, where you just got really bad, dark thoughts and hurting people, which I do have those kind of thoughts, but not hurting people, stop eating my book! You know, it doesn't mean I'm gonna do it, you know, like, sure, like, someone will make me mad, and I'll be like, I could do so many things to you right now. And that's not a good way of thinking, especially with my practice and stuff like that. But if I didn't have my practice, and if I didn't have my beliefs and stuff like that, I would probably be a really crazy killer person. You know? Ah! He peed on me. Oh my god. Oh, it's not that much. I'm gonna have to change my pants. Oh my goodness. So anyways, you see, like, just know yourself. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't know myself that much. Well, you're the one person who truly knows yourself. Like, you can ask your higher self. Your higher self knows you. But you're the one person who truly knows yourself more than anyone else. And I'm taking a astrology class. I may know some stuff about astrology, but I'm taking a class to learn more about it. And it's really, really interesting. I really like it. And the teacher in there said, you know, you understand your chart and astrology, you will understand yourself, like, so much more. Which it is true. Because when I was studying my chart, I was learning more about myself. It made me feel great about myself. So, anyways, 2, know the craft. So basically, know the witchcraft and the different things in witchcraft. Know the craft. You basically need to have almost like a intuitive understanding of the craft, is how I see it as. Know it. Know it, live it, love it. Yes. That sounds good. Anyways, yeah. So, know it, and basically just keep on learning, you know? Step 3. That's nothing. Okay. Step 3. Learn. This is a big one. This is very much makes sense. We know that. We know that we need to learn. Basically, know the craft, you need to learn. So, it's basically like a deeper type of thing to it. Just learn. Keep on learning. Don't end with just, oh, I learned this and that's it. It's learn, 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 Number 4. Apply your learning. This is very, very true. Because if we don't apply our learning, then we learned it and it's like no use to us. So, apply your learning. So, 5. Achieve balance. This is a really big one, just like all of them. Achieve balance. This is like, you know, balance between good and bad. You know, like, try not to drown everything with this and that and whatever. And I don't mean, like, do a good spell one day, then do a really bad thing the next day, because that's not keeping balance. Just understand balance, too. Like, understand it. Like, no limits and stuff of good and bad. And, you know, like, it's kind of like, you know, my whole open-minded thing with, you know, black magic, white magic, if you believe in white or black, or if magic even has a color. Or, you know, the Satanists, the Wiccans, the Christians, the Mormons, the Muslims, you know, like, I respect it all. And it's just all balance, you know, just understand a balance between good and bad, feminine and masculine, you know, earth and universe, that whole thing, you know, and then like the god and the goddess. Some of you may worship the goddess more, or some of you may worship the god more. So like try to create a sort of balance between that and also things in your life as
6.
well. Resist temptation. This is so hilariously true and right, because we are always faced with temptation that might make us somewhat kind of change our beliefs in some sort of ways and also make us not do the best thing. Resist temptation. Sometimes, then this we know is temptation when we're like, I would like to do this, but this and that. You might have reason for why you might not want to do it. But you just got that need for it, like that want for it, you know, sort of like when a wife or husband wants to cheat, they get temptation for maybe some other male or female. They're like, like, ooh, they're very good looking, and you know, they make me laugh and stuff like that, and like, well, I'd like to do, you know, bad things with them, which isn't a good thing. For those of you who are Christian and you know, it's adultery. You know, don't look at someone in that way, or, you know, take out your eye. It's better than having your body thrown in hell. That's scary stuff. That's why I'm not too, like, everything on the Bible, you know. But I do believe in stuff in the Bible, though. But yes, temptation. Try to resist temptation as much as you can. That is a form of discipline to yourself. And you do feel very good and successful when you do resist it. 7. Keep your thoughts in good order. This is a really good thing because people do have a lot of, you know, unorganized thoughts. Things can seem going crazy and insane. You'll have all kinds of stuff going through your mind, and it's just hard to, like, you know, pinpoint everything. That's why when I watch Gone with the Wind, I love it when Scarlett O'Hara says, well, I won't worry about that today. I'll think about that tomorrow. Because, you know, it's not something that matters at the moment. So just deal with it another day when it does matter. And that's my little philosophy with my thoughts and stuff like that. Sure, sometimes though, when I sit by myself and maybe like something happened, I get all kinds of thoughts. And it's very unordered. But then by the end of the day, I, you know, basically organize it and stuff like that. And then things work a lot better. If your thoughts are not organized and you don't have concentration, you have a very hard time performing spells or keeping balance in yourself, and also you can cause problems with your
Celebrate
energy.
life.
Number 8. Shh, be quiet, Lafayette. Celebrate life. This is so very, very a big thing. Just like this one motto, you may be alive, but doesn't mean you're living. This is so true. Sometimes we will go through life and we'll be like, okay, I'm alive, you know. But are you truly living? Are you doing the great things that you would like to do? Like, there's so many things out there that some of us don't do, but when we're in a, like, when it comes to near our end and we know it's coming, like people with cancer and stuff like that, we kind of want to do things when it's too late. That's why every day you need to live your life at the fullest. And when something great happens in your life, celebrate it. Like, and express, like, how grateful you are of life and everything. It's just more than just living or just life. It's such a great thing that you need to celebrate. And some of you may believe in past lives, but it is hard to remember those lives. And the true meaning that they have is the karma that they pass on to us. So, really, for now, enjoy what you know that you have right now. Enjoy it and live it, celebrate it, and embrace it, you know? So, that's basically how I felt about that one. Attune with the cycles of the universe, number 9. This one is very true. And when it means attune to the universe, it's basically like, you know the different moons and stuff like that. And basically, sort of when you can feel like a shift when it comes to energies and stuff like that. Like, you start to realize things and you just try to connect to the universe more. Once you connect more to the universe, basically when you're doing different spells and stuff like that, you have a better understanding on the different changes in the universe, so you're tuning to it. Number 10, breathe and eat correctly. Eating correctly is a good thing because then you have better energy in your body. If you guys are vegetarian or vegan, you might have better access to fairies because, if you're, vegan or vegetarian, it's kind of more of a fairy thing. And that's why a lot of people who want to communicate with fairies will do that. But either way, even if you eat meat, then you can still do that. Like me, I'm a meat eater. I like meat. I don't like how the meat ends up on my plate, but I like meat. So maybe that makes me a hypocrite. I'm not sure. Maybe it does. And I feel bad about it, but I do give thanks for it, not necessarily like how it got there, but where it came from, And when they mean breathe correctly, it's basically 8 breaths a minute. Like, how you breathe and you're like, it's like 1 second, exhale, 2 seconds, inhale, 3 seconds, exhale. No, it's basically slowly breathe in, count the seconds to go. No, basically like 1, 2, 3. And kind of hold until you kind of like need air again, but not until you're like, ugh, and then breathe in as much as you can, all the way down to your root chakra, basically your genitals and stuff like that. You're breathing with everything, not with just your lungs, but with your stomach too. And basically that is practicing at breathing correctly. And you actually attune your body a lot better. You become more psychic and stuff like that when you learn to breathe like that. And if you practice it, then you breathe like that normally, and you're not, doing all those and stuff like that, and then your cardio actually gets better and everything. But the point with that is that basically if you learn to breathe like that, then you get way stronger. So, like, if you guys are interested in opening your third eye, practice exercise both mind and body. This is a very true thing. Like, the mind always needs to be exercised because that is one of our major tools. We don't need tools. The true and awesome tool we have is our freaking mind. Alright, so, like, basically exercise your mind. One of those things is maybe, if you guys know about, like, spoon bending and stuff like that, you can try that, and that actually exercises your mind and stuff. And your body too. It's very important. It's good to keep in shape. It's healthy, and don't get paranoid and try to like freak out and stuff like that. But what was I gonna say? But yeah, it's good to stay in shape. Exercising your body basically builds up energy in your body, and not only that, it really helps your different chakras and stuff like that as well. You would be surprised on what things don't seem magical are meditate. Magical. Very big. And meditation is a very big thing because it does help your energies and stuff like that, and it actually helps you with all the rest of the different goals as being a witch. And that would be like, just meditating, maybe focusing on something that you need or want and stuff like that. And you also become more relaxed and just more like, there's like a lot of benefits to meditation, and it does have a big part when it comes to being a witch and in witchcraft, because you do need to receive energy sometimes when you're really low on energy, because when being a witch, it has a lot of basically benefits as well, just like with the breathing. Honor and worship the god and the goddess. Now this also is a big thing too, because you need to keep in tune with the god and the goddess, so that way they know that you care about them and that you appreciate them and their help that they help you with when you're doing the craft. When they say attune to the universe as well, that also means like celebrating the different holidays, like Yule and the Sabbats and the Esbats. That is something that as a witch you need to do and keep up with. Like, you don't have to make this like a full-out ritual thing, but showing some sort of celebration to it is a good thing. and it does help a lot. It just shows that you care and that it does matter to you. And you know, this is also, when you do that, then you're coming in contact with God and the Goddess, and you're creating that connection. You know, just like with people, you create a better connection when you keep in contact with them and when you talk to them, and you know, you guys understand each other better. But yes, you guys, I'm sorry this took such a long time, but I know that you guys really wanted to know what it means to become a witch, or the steps to take. Those are your goals. So when you become successful with those, and you continue with those, and you just stick to it, then you'll become a witch. And you'll actually kind of know as well, like within yourself when you are. And not only that, you don't need to have someone in your family born a witch. You don't have to be born a witch. It doesn't have to run in your family for you to be a witch. You can become a witch by yourself. Alright? But it's not something that you just wake up and say, I'm a witch. That's not how it works. Because then a real witch will come up to you and then ask you this and that and whatever, and how you think about this and that, and you'll be like, no, you'll probably look like an idiot. That's mean. But that's what you'll look like, you know, and you'll look like a wannabe. So then once you really want to be a witch and you become a witch, then people will not take you seriously. And when it comes to being a witch, it's really good to know what you're talking about, especially if it comes to explaining it to a family member or someone else who doesn't understand the practice or what you're actually practicing. You know, it's very important you understand what you're talking about, and that you not give real witches a bad name, because this does affect a lot of witches. When someone is a wannabe, they don't know what they're talking about, and they act out of ignorance. And usually sometimes it's people who talk about things imbalancedly, like they kind of see it as all this complete darkness thing, when witchcraft is not that. They're very eccentric type people in a not very witchy way, good witchy way. So don't give witches a bad name, you guys. Try to learn and take in as much as you can, and continue learning afterwards, so that way you feel good that you're a witch, and that you're a witch, and you don't go lying to people and stuff like that. When you take in this practice and you learn it and you know it, you live it and you breathe it, then you will feel so great. And I'm not saying that the only way to happiness is to become a witch, because it's not. It's basically like, I guess you can say, sort of like a title, you know. You know, there's doctors, and then there's lawyers, and then there's witches. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Goodbye, and blessed be.